Hello everybody and welcome back to the Leetcode grind. Today we have 925 long press name. It is one of the questions in the mock interview series. Let's give that a go. We're basically given two strings, a name and the value that was actually typed. It says that our friend typed a name but may have long pressed a character one or more times. So we examine the typed value and determine if it is possible that our friend's name has been typed with some extra long presses. And for that to hold true, there's a few things that we need to confirm. First of all, these characters must appear in order. So for this to return true, we know that I press A, but hey, oops, I extra pressed A. Okay, that's fine. I press L normally, I press E, but oops, I extra press D. And then I press X. That's possible. But what if there was a T? Well, there is no T in the source name, so this should return false. Because there's no way I long pressed a non-valid character. So that's false. The other situation is where everything else seems fine. Okay, I pressed A, L, E, perfect, but uh-oh, I forgot to add the X. So this name can't have been pressed if we don't even complete the name. And let's take this example here and this example here. Okay, so now actually running through the workflow, we're gonna iterate here and say, all right, I'm at S and this is our name. And I check, first of all, am I within the bounds of name? I am. And do they match? They do? Great. We move both. Am I within the range of both? And do they match? They do not. Okay, that's all right. So we check this guy. We check, okay, we don't match, but is there a previous chart that we can compare against? There is. This is not the first index. There is a previous chart we can compare against. And does that previous chart then match the current chart? As in, is it possible that this chart, which does not match the corresponding position in the name, is it possible this is just a long press of the previous chart? In this case, it is, so we move on and then try to match this with the next guy. All right, at this point, do these match? They do, so we move both. And at this point, do these match? They do not, but once again, there is a previous chart in name to compare against, and this chart does match the previous chart. So, okay, no worries. Let's continue our search down typed. Now we're at E, and we see that, yes, they do match. So we move both. And do these match? Uh-oh. We see that E does not match D. There is a previous chart to match against, but look at that. The previous chart also doesn't match. So D doesn't match the next chart of E, nor does it match the previous chart, which would indicate that it's a long press. So it's neither matching nor a long press. So at this point, we can return false. All right, let's implement that in our code. We basically started from the beginning of both characters, the name and um, the typed version. We started at 0 index. And what we can do is exhaust all the characters in the typed version. We'll do a bunch of things. But at the end, we also want to make sure that we also exhausted the name characters. There's different ways to do this, but we'll do it this way. So we'll make sure that n, wherever n ends up being, is the end. So we've already verified the last character in name, and we've incremented n past the name. So that should return true if we've exhausted the name. And we'll only get to this point if we've exhausted typed. So both are exhausted. Okay. So there are a few things. First of all, no matter what, we are going to increment t because the while loop is in charge of iterating through typed. And besides that, there are two conditions. The first is matching, right? The next is not matching, but and not long press, which is our backup. Okay, to check if it's matching, we say, if the name of that position in N is matching type of that position, then we can increment, we can move through name, and we're moving through typed anyways. But the one thing we can check also is that N, before we try to extract it, we can check that it is within bounds. So N is less than length of name, and then that valid index name matches that other index type, then we can move along name. Otherwise, we do one more check, which is otherwise, if there is no previous char to compare against, as in this is the first character in name. So if we have Alex and their type version is Lex, let's say, then the first character itself is mismatching. There is no previous character to have possibly long pressed, so that is false. But there's another one. Okay. Or there is a previous character, however, that previous character does not match the current character in type either. So that's this situation right here where, okay, the current characters do not match, but does it match the previous character? Nope, it does not either. So that's this situation, and it will return false. And we can try to fit everything in one screen and give that a go. Give that a submit. And there you have it. We have 925 long press name. Thanks so much. Happy coding. See you next time.